Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Welcome to the Final Visit podcast. I'm your host, Sarang, and I'm joined by my fellow pundits, Aadhithya and Sricharan. In this 15-minute pod, we're going to be talking about the VAR in the English Premier League, something that of late has created a lot of controversy in the footballing community. The first glaring instance this season was in the Tottenham versus Liverpool game in September. Tell us more about that, Adi.
So the Tottenham versus Liverpool game, if you see, uh, by 26th minute, Curtis Jones of Liverpool gets a red card, and by 33rd minute, if you see this picture, Luis Diaz scores a goal, but there's a potential offside which has been checked by the referees and the VR officials. And as soon as they go for the check, they rule Luis Diaz offside, but Luis Diaz was completely onside. He was given offside for I don't know for what reason, but I think the referees clearly took a hasty decision in this. So Darren England checked offside, and the on-field decision was goal conceded for Luis Diaz, but it was complete. It was a quick offside check because Luis Diaz was onside, and the referee told check complete. In telling the ref check complete, he's saying the on-field decision Luis Diaz goal disallowed was correct. So the goal
And
which was
yeah, so like I
yeah.
was watching this match, and my brother's a Liverpool fan. We were watching it. This looked like we were just directly seeing this. We could clearly see it was onside. But then neither of the teams argued, and the game just proceeded as usual. So we just assumed it's probably the correct call.
Absolutely, because the FA rule states that after the play has restarted, referees can go back to review incidents of mistaken identity or red card for serious incidents like violent conduct or something other than that, but not for offside, and especially when the game is restarted. So Liverpool's goal was ruled offside, and Spurs Tottenham saw this as a chance, and they took a free kick as soon as the decision was ruled offside for Liverpool, and the decision couldn't be rolled back. So the referees had no choice, but later on had to go with the decision that they made, which was offside. But Luis Diaz was onside. This one goal costed Liverpool so much, and by the 26th minute, Curtis Jones received a red card. 33rd minute, there's a offside goal which is onside, but Luis Diaz was ruled offside. In the end, there's Matip who gives Tottenham the
90 plus
own goal,
6 on goal.
and yeah, and that changes the match completely. And before Matip's own goal, there's Diego Jota's red card. So there are two red cards,
Basically,
one own
yeah,
goal,
95 minutes of the
and
game, it's all, even though Liverpool are with 9 men, Tottenham with 11, and they're still all. And it's that last minute own goal that
yeah,
completely.
and Liverpool completely dominated this game till the end. Even though having 9 men, they gave a tough fight. But Tottenham, I think it was one-sided towards Tottenham, and I think being Tottenham's home stadium, home crowd, whatnot, everything was in Tottenham's favor, and clear pressure on both the referees and VR referees for taking such a decision. And in PGM all post the match, they say that it's a human error, not a technical error, and this is something that they need to look into. And moreover, this match was towards Liverpool's side, but till the end they didn't like give up. But unfortunately, Liverpool had to lose this match. That one goal of Luis Diaz, which could have been onside and could
Never
have
say
been a
never.
goal. Yeah,
Never say
so
never.
could have
Sorry. Had the
could
goal
have been.
stood, it would have been a victory for Liverpool, and it was a deserving victory.
Both are unbeaten also at this point.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Romero is clearly ahead of Diaz, but then of poor camera angles and I think whatnot. In this, you can see in the picture clearly. There's the proper angle is not there, and the referee's decision, the hasty decision, and the quick one. I think if he took time to like review his decision and like giving a proper input for the on-field decision, I think that would have been better. Even in cricket, if you see, they take time and then they let the results out. Any decision that they take, be it DRS or be it the sneakometer, they take time and they then like send out the decision whether it's an out or not out, so that anyone in the field, they shouldn't one team shouldn't have a disadvantage and one team shouldn't have the advantage at the mistake of a referee. So I think in this they were pretty quick, and I think the home crowd also put them under pressure, I would tell. So I think later on after this match, it was Newcastle versus Arsenal. Something similar had happened. I think
Right,
we
right.
all saw that match. So
Yeah, let's talk about
I
that
think
match
we can
also.
talk about that match. Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that match too.
And that's also another crucial game. Both like Arsenal's unbeaten 10-game unbeaten streak along with Tottenham, and they're trying to close this gap with Tottenham and go top of the table. And we know how they're trying to. They've had a very frustrating last season where they played so well and then bottled it up in the end. So they just don't want
Man
that
City
to happen again.
Man City completely
Won
finished
the
them off in the
Premier League last season. Yeah.
yeah.
And then Newcastle, who have been like the surprise package of the last few seasons, they had a tough start to this season, playing both Liverpool, City, all back to back in the start. But now this is around the time they're just regaining their form. This is early November, if I'm not wrong. And this is a tense clash because
Yeah.
we've seen Arsenal, Newcastle in the past 2 seasons. They've always been very hard fought battles. And this match wasn't any different. A tactical battle, and there's no knowing which side the game will go. Full of shots on target, attempts, and of course, a lot of fouls also. So let's go to the 61st minute. And this is around the time the Newcastle forward, Callum Wilson is substituted off. And Anthony Gordon, who's their attacking midfielder, is moved up to the centre forward role. And within 70 seconds of this change, like following a rapid Newcastle attack, Anthony Gordon puts the ball in the back of the net. And the home crowd erupts. But again, never say never. Arsenal are furious and the goal is checked. And this is not like any other goal check, even different from the Luis Diaz goal out, because this is not checked for one, but 3 violations. So let's go over them. The first one, as you can see in this photo, it's Joe Willock trying to keep the ball in play. And from this angle, okay, for the ball to be in play, there should be at least some portion of the ball that is over the line and not completely.
Again, poor angle
poor
again.
camera
You see,
angles. Yeah, and resolution so poor.
So,
This is the exact screen the on-field ref is seeing, the same as us. But when you see in cricket, like
true.
much better graphics and viewing angles. So that's one big problem. And this goes in favor of Newcastle. Don't ask how, but this is considered to be ball in play. So Willock keeps the ball and crosses it in. And the ball goes to Joe Linton. So if you can see in this next photo, Joe Linton has both his hands on Gabriel and actually pushes him down. And that is a foul. Like, okay, fouls are generally more subjective, but I think most people would call that a foul. But once again, goes in Newcastle's favor. So 2 out of the 3 checks go in Newcastle's favor, both very controversial. Now, if you go to the third check, which is offside against Anthony Gordon, if you check the footage, you can see Raya is actually ahead of both the forwards, and the last man here is actually Gabriel. But because Joe Linton's more advanced than Gordon, okay, in this case is quite clearly onside. So this decision is quite straightforward. But the previous 2, the ball out of play and the foul by Joe Linton, I think most would say it's quite harsh on Arsenal. And yeah,
I think in both these cases, I think when I first spoke about Liverpool and Tottenham and Newcastle and Arsenal, I think both these cases, Liverpool got 2 red cards, 1 goal ruled out, and then these guys, Newcastle, had 3 checks like cleared of them without getting 1 foul also. I think, do you think was this a home side bias or anything?
I wouldn't rule it out, but because there is strong pressure from the home fans and like the home managers always screaming at the officials in such cases and clouding the referee's judgment. So I wouldn't rule it out. That it had some influence.
Or do you think it's Newcastle Saudi money that played in this game?
Quite possible.
It feels like VAR just keeps getting worse with every match.
Totally second your opinion, Sarang. It just keeps getting worse with every match. So many controversial decisions. Every match there's some other controversial decision, which leads to the reserving team ending up on the losing side. The whole purpose of VAR was to improve the accuracy, and they remove the controversy. But again, that's not happening.
True.
Decisions have certainly improved. Like before, there was more bias from the referees. Even with the VAR, even with the video proof, the refereeing bias still continues, and controversy never stops, never ends.
I think VAR needs to be evaluated and improved. And I mean, unlike football, in cricket, say DRS or the sneakometer, both of them are like viewed and seen by both the teams and the referees and the umpires upstairs who are checking it also. So everyone. But when you say in football, the VAR is only seen by the on-field referee and the VAR who's upstairs. I think players, managers can't call for any review during the match in football. Whereas in
You have
cricket,
limits, yeah.
you have that liberty and you can take that decision and you can change everything. In football, that one goal matters. I mean, it changes the complete atmosphere and environment for the team that's playing, and especially if you're an away team. Say in Liverpool and Tottenham match, that one goal of Luis Diaz could have meant a lot for them. They could have like literally drawn that match, but that goal was ruled offside where he was completely onside. I mean, in cricket, at least you have other players to like back you up, but in football, it's not that. It's one goal you go score or one goal you concede. That makes a lot of difference. I
And
think
like we've
we
spoken
need to
so
look into
often,
that
like,
analysis.
like
Yeah,
a wicket is just 1 of 10, but like a goal or red card, like it decides the result most often. And VAR is therefore more crucial in football than say DRS decisions in cricket, but the performance is just the opposite. Like, Vatsa, what do you think is the reason for this?
Oh, Sarang, I totally agree with your point that a wicket is just 1 of 10. A goal, even a single goal can change the entire game. It can One goal is more than enough for some matches where you can just win the match. So there's definitely no disparity when it comes between the sports. For example, cricket and Formula One. So cricket, it uses complex systems, tracking systems like Hawkeye and the Ultra Edge primarily. So the decisions are almost automated, and the refereeing bias or the umpire bias is quite, when compared to football, it's very less. And Formula One, again, it's got its own data points, monitoring, and when you've got the sensors where if any racing incidents or penalty decisions, there's a heavy penalty that's being put on the player, which could possibly lead to disqualification.
And
So
even
yeah,
about time, right? Like in cricket, they give so much time to each decision, but in football, you can't really afford that much time also. Like in terms, the
exactly.
dynamics of the
So
game also.
the on-field team, if they want to take a decision in cricket, they have time. They have this time that they can like appeal for, and they're given the liberty like to go and ask and appeal. Be it the team that has got that thinks that they're not like supposed to get this decision, they also can appeal, and the team that wants to appeal and take that decision forward. So anything, both the teams, the playing teams, have the liberty to like appeal for anything that they think isn't fair for them, the decision given by the umpire. So I think in football that needs to be introduced. That thing where you can like appeal if some injustice for you has happened in playing a sport, in taking a decision by the referee or the umpire, anything. And the analysis part is something that all of us need to look into, and even FIFA needs to look into, because when you see there's VAR in the European leagues and other leagues and all, but when it comes to the World Cup is something that had semi-automated VAR. So I think there should be standard rule where they should follow one particular system of reviewing decisions. So I think otherwise it's going to be a chaos in football.
Yeah. Vatsa, like, what do you
there's a
think
lot of
about the
inconsistency.
World Cup? How is the World Cup VR actually different? Because I feel like the animations, everything they use, they just weren't the same as what we see in the Premier League or even the Champions League.
No,
What's the difference
it's
really?
not the same. In the World Cup, there was this system called semi-automated VAR, which is slightly different from the VAR which is being used in the Premier League. So in the semi-automated VAR, you can actually see the animated pictures of the players, and when it's offside, the system can automatically give a decision, not necessarily for the referee to check, look from the different camera angles, different angles. So automatically you get decision, and it was much much smoother than how it's going the Premier League right now, and there weren't any wrong calls when it came to offside especially. Semi-automated does have its shortcomings, like it doesn't count for any fouls or yellow card, red card. That's again up to the referees what their decision is. But definitely this needs to come up in the Premier League and also in other leagues, because it was quite a successful usage of this system in the World Cup, and why not use in other leagues when football the decisions keep
Definitely.
being controversial,
Yep.
and you need proper decision making to improve the flow of the game and make sure the teams don't get disappointed and the deserving team don't lose, more importantly.
And moreover, I think in Premier League VR is used, but the other leagues that you see, domestic leagues
Like
such as FA Cup or Carabao
EFL.
Cup, they don't have VR
Oh
throughout
yeah,
the
yeah, correct,
stage.
correct, correct.
They have it only in semi-finals and finals. I think this is something FIFA needs to look into. It's like there's clearly a bias, and like when it comes to like some important matches like semi-finals and finals, they bring VAR. And if you take decisions like this, such as the Arsenal Newcastle match or the Tottenham Liverpool match in semi-final or final, it costs the team the very means of going to the championship and winning the championship. So I
Totally.
think we need to look in that.
Yeah.
And they
let
can
us,
like they should be like, I guess FIFA being the parent body of all football football bodies, like, or at least UEFA. If you take the case of Europa League or Champions League, they should like kind of have some common standards so that all their member leagues follow the same. I don't know. They use the same type of VAR, have the same type of rules, and there's equity basically between all of these. And of course, like checking mechanisms have to be more thorough. More cameras are required, better angles, better resolution. And why can't they use computer simulations? Like in cricket, we have all this ball tracking, projections, animation. I think football can clearly use some of that and reduce
I
their
think going
margin of
forward, I
error.
think
maybe World Cup,
we can use
World
a
Cup.
we can use semi-automated VAR going forward, because if you see in this, I remember this match in which Varane's backside saved Argentina's World Cup dreams, and Messi
Give
could
Messi his World
lift
Cup.
the world. Yeah, so I think semi-automated VAR should come. I
Argentina
feel.
could
What do you guys
is
think? Which
bigger
should be
Yeah,
better,
I mean,
VAR or
of
semi-automated?
course, the budget needs to be like looked into for all of this. But yeah, if the technology is there, why not? Because these leagues see so much of investment and have such rich owners. So like funding for it is
So you guys are
available,
telling,
I think.
so you guys think semi-automated is better than the existing VAR?
Yeah, at least for offside
yes,
calls, it should surely be
also
implemented.
option yes, as Sarang says, yes.
Okay, okay. And I think, yeah, FIFA and UEFA need to like look into the standards of the decision system that has been implemented, so that it doesn't affect the other teams that are not accustomed to VAR or anything.
What do you
Yeah,
guys think about
transparency.
VAR? Yeah,
Transparency
should it
again,
be made
as
transparent?
Adi mentioned earlier, it's lacking in football. As you see in cricket, you can see the decision on the big screen, but we can't say the same with football. All you see is if it's a goal, it's disallowed or not, but doesn't show the process involved. Whereas cricket does,
True,
and
true,
players know what's happening. So
true.
there are many shortcomings with VAR, even the semi-automated VAR. I believe, as again Sarang said, it's quite primitive when compared to cricket, where the advanced algorithms are used to come to conclusions about, say, the LBW or whatever call that's being raised for. So football, again, I can still consider it as an infant when it comes to the technology, and AI is slowly coming up in football. That's definitely a guarantee. So let's hope for the best, and don't know what's going to come in the future.
Yeah, and that's what we have for you today. And let us know your thoughts. Do you agree? Should VAR be improved? Should semi-automatic VAR be used? What exactly are the problems behind VAR? Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Do you agree or disagree?
Okay, lads, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
in this podcast. Please do share, like, subscribe this podcast. And until next time, this is Sricharan, Sarang, and Adi signing off in the final whistle. See you. Tata. Bye bye.
Yeah, but-